It's 9 o'clock, time to conduct the business of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners. I would like to ask everyone in the audience, if you have a cell phone or pager, if you would either cut it off or put it on the silent mode. I appreciate your assistance in that. Our invocation, Mr. Gurley, if you would introduce Mr. Frank Flowers, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask Mr. Flowers to come forward. I've known Mr. Flowers for about 35 years now. Mr. Flowers is a local businessman here in Wayne County, owns and operates Southern Communications. Retired in 1999. Been a minister for 42 years now. He's still active in the ministry. He's a good friend. He's been a great mentor to me. Mr. Flowers, I turn it over to you, sir.
Okay. How many of you ever remember the song that the man sang when Custer was fighting the Indians? This one individual that was scared to death said, "What am I doing here?" He said, "All these arrows flying around." But seriously, it's good to see you commissioners. I met with commissioners when I first came to Wayne County in 1960. We installed a radio system for the fire system. I guess they'd never had radios before. 2 nights later, after meeting with the commissioners, which I was scared to death that day, they asked me to speak before the Fire Association. I went to my doctor and I said, "Doc, I got to speak to a group of men tonight and I'm scared to death. What can you give me?" He said, "I'll give you 2 pills." He said, "Take one an hour before and then one just before you stand up to speak." It's okay. Instead of taking one before, I took 2 of them together. When I stood up to speak, my mouth would move, but nothing would come out. It took me a long time to ever get to the place that I could address the Fire Association. There was a bunch of men there. I was expecting 2 or 3 people, and there must have been 50 or 60. And most of them were great big fellas, too. Some of you might remember Jacob Edwards. I don't remember Tom's last name, from Belfast, but they were big hombres. But anyway, the meeting went well, and I'm not here to talk about that. But Joe introduced me as being retired, semi-retired. I've retired from the radio service, but semi-retired as far as ministry is concerned. It's hard for me to speak to you folks with my back toward these folks. I was always told, never turn your back on your congregation. So I need to be standing behind y'all. But anyway, I'll do what I was told. So let me have a word of prayer. Our Heavenly Father, you're so good to us and bless us in so many ways. You give us many opportunities and privileges in our society. We need a lot of God in our society today. It seems that people have put him outside, to leave him alone, or to talk about him, to put him down. Father, I know this county is good. I know there's no one good except thee, because you have said that. But, Jesus, you've given us the opportunity to present your program, the program of salvation. And Lord, as I stand here today, I appreciate all that you've done for me and for this county. Wayne County is a great county. We've had good leadership throughout the many years. And I appreciate that, Father. And I appreciate what you do for each one of us here today. And just ask that you give us strength and courage that we might go on and do the things you would have us to do. Forgive us for our sins. Lead, guide, and direct these men today as they conduct the business of the county. They have a lot of things on their mind, a lot of opportunities they need to share, and at the same time, dear God, I know there's going to be some that disagree with them. But Lord, give them the strength to stand for what they believe. Most of all, may they turn to thee for leadership and guidance, as I feel like they do. Most of them here probably are Christians. Most everyone in this room is probably Christians. I pray they are. But there may be one that's amiss. And I ask, dear Father, that you speak to their hearts and lead them before it's too late. Have your way with all of us, and again, direct the leadership of this county with these men. Help them today to make whatever decisions need to be made, and may they trust in thee. Your word has told us to trust in thee, and lead not into our own understanding. So Lord, lead, guide, and direct now. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I would like to say a few more words before I sit down. I told Joe, he told me 2 or 3 minutes. I said, what if I take about 20 or 30? And I won't do that, but I would like to say a few words. I feel kind of like Moses when he was tending the sheep on the desert, the backside of the burning desert. And he looked up on a mountain that was in view, and he saw a bush on fire. And he said, I must go and see this thing. So he made his way up the mountain to the bush. But just before he got there, he heard a voice say, Moses, Moses, remove the shoes from off thy feet, for the ground upon which you stand is holy ground. He did that. Scared stiff he was. But he removed the shoes and he walked up closer to the bush. And again, the bush began to speak. It was really God speaking from the bush. He said, I got a job for you to do. And that job is to go back to Egypt and lead thy people out from Egypt. Moses began to balk. He said, I can't do that. I can't speak before people. I can't direct people. Who am I going to say, by the way, that sent me? God said, I am that I am. He's still I am today for all of us. And to each of you, and to you folks, I hope you know him as I am. He is God. He's the only God that we serve, and the only God that's really created this human race in this world. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joe. And Brother Wayne, I appreciate all you fellows. I might not know your name by face, but I see your names in front of your black plaques, and it's good to see you. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Flowers. Mr. Bell, pledge.
You stand, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any discussion or adjustments to the agenda?
Yes, sir. We did want to add one thing. I'd like to add a recommendation on the Office of Emergency Services Director. And I'd like to talk about a reorganization on that.
That's all you have, Mr. Wood?
Yes, sir.
All right, anyone else have any adjustments to the agenda? All right, we'll move on. Well, approval of the minutes of the July 16th, 2014 meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I so move approval of those minutes.
Have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of the July 16, 2014 meeting. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I left off one thing. I'd like to also add under other business, now that we've discussed in closed session, the appointment of a tax administrator on a permanent basis.
You want to make that number 9 or number 10? Or
Number 10.
Number 10 will be fine. And you'll take care of that.
Yes.
Special recognition. We have 2 guests this morning, former employees of the county, with many years of dedicated service, Mr. David Ward and Ms. Frances Wiggs. Marcia, did we do that together or separately?
Separately.
Separately, okay.
Frances Wiggs has given 30 years of service to Wayne County, and
is now retiring from the Register of Deeds office. I think several of us went to her reception last week, and we just wanted to thank you for those years of service to our county. And first of all, I wanted to give you a 30-year pin. And then the second thing is this plaque. It says, "Presented to Francis Wiggs, Register of Deeds Office, in appreciation of dedicated service as a county employee, August 1, 1984 to July 31, 2014, the County of Wayne, North Carolina." Congratulations.
Thank you for the plaque and pin. On August the 1st, 1984, Margaret Peacock gave me the opportunity of a lifetime, the chance to work for Wayne County. She assured me that the office policy was to wear a dress or a skirt. I agreed and went to work. Thank you, Margaret. In November of 1988, Debbie Lane took office and swore me in again. Thank you, Debbie. In 2003, again I was sworn in, and this time by John Chance. And thank you, John. In November 2004, Lois Mooring was elected as Register of Deeds. Now, I was really nervous this time. You see, Lois and I had been arch rivals on the softball field. So I was really worried if she was going to swear me back in. So when she called me into her office, I immediately tried to apologize for tagging her out many times as she tried to round third base. She looked across the desk and said, "First of all, if you had not been standing in my way, I would have reached the base. And second of all, the umpires just couldn't see. We had poor lighting in the Hunt ball field." Thank you, Lois. It has been a fantastic 10 years. But thanks to the commissioners, the county managers, co-workers, and other county employees that I've had the privilege to work with. But most of all, I'm grateful to the attorneys and the citizens of Wayne County for giving me the privilege of serving you. I did not see my job as just a paycheck at the end of the month. I share with you this from the bottom of my heart. I have truly enjoyed serving the public and helping in any way that I could. I love the citizens of Wayne County, and I have considered it a privilege and an honor to have served for the past 30 years in the Register of Deeds office. Wayne County is truly the best. I leave Wayne County employees with this challenge. Every man is enthusiastic at times. One man has enthusiasm for 30 minutes. Another has it for 30 days. But it is the man that has it for 30 years that makes a success in life. Thank you, Wayne County, and I love you.
Lois, do you want a rebuttal on the
Her memory has failed her. I think I tagged her out as many times as she did me. But I do want to stress one thing. Francis, only the thing that really impressed me was when she broke her shoulder. I tried my best to talk this woman into staying home. She had plenty of time to stay home. She would not. She stayed out 2 days and she was back working just as hard as she could. That really made an impression on me.
Go ahead. We ready? You got the floor. David, if you'll come up, please. This next person we're honoring today is David Ward. David was the tax administrator till last week, I guess it was. And he has served 39 years with Wayne County. And I used to think when I first started in this business that the toughest job was being the county manager. But I've been through 2 revaluations, and I've decided tax administrator is the toughest job in county government, without a doubt. And David, you've done it extremely well for many years, and we deeply appreciate what you've done. And we also want to thank you for training one of the best assistant tax administrators in the state, who I think we're going to take to another level this morning. But we appreciate everything you've done for the county. Thank you very much. Thank you. And let me read this. It says, presented to David Ward, Tax Office, in appreciation of dedicated service as a county employee, August 26, 1974 to July 31, 2014, the county of Wayne, North Carolina. So again, congratulations. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate this board and all the previous boards allowing me to serve, and I appreciate Mr. Will Sullivan and him having some influence over me being able to become the tax administrator. And I especially appreciate all the employees, because us department managers, you know, we get in there and we do certain things, but it's the employees that make things happen. It takes a team, and that's what you have to have. And we're leaving you with, I think, a good team there, and I think a very good leader. So again, I appreciate it, and I did want to say this. It sounds like I've been here a long time, and Joe and I have discussed this before, but I'll just leave you with I think it's an old Delbert McClinton song. It says, I ain't old, but I've been around a long time.
Thank you, Calvin. 3, 2, 1. Congratulations.
Appointments, Mr. Gurley?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the committee met this morning. We have a few announcements of the board and committee vacancies. One, the planning board has 1 vacancy, and consider appointment recommendations from the public. Latino Council has 1 vacancy, and consider appointment recommendation from the public. The Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee has 1 vacancy, and consider an appointment recommendation from the public. And the final one is the Animal Control Advisory Committee had 1 vacancy, and considering appointment recommendation from the public. Encourage any and all people to please contact any commissioner or Ms. Wilson on any recommendations. And then, Mr. Chairman, in addition to that, we'd like to move to appoint members of the Wayne County Agriculture Committee, and their terms are as follows, and they are eligible for reappointment. And all these appointments begin July 1, 2014. Ross Balance, term in 6/30/15. Howard Scott, 6/30/15. Greg Shackelford, 6/30/15. And Craig West, 6/30/15. Julian Aycock, ending 6/30/16. Charles McClenny, 6/30/16. Ronald Parks, 6/30/16. Eddie Pitzer, 6/30/16. Lemmy Azale, 6/30/16. And then Johnny Carl Bess in 6/30/17. Lee Randolph Casey, 6/30/17. Lorinda Overman, 6/30/17. And Debbie Worley, 6/30/17. And this is to get all, this committee in line and standard like the other committees and boards are that we appoint. Put that in form of a motion.
I have a motion on the floor. You've heard the names and the terms. Marcia, can we get a copy of that? Not now, but later, or is
You
it?
have one in your agenda,
It's in the center, it's in the.
but I'll
Okay,
get you another one.
okay, all right. I didn't see a page numbers reading, hadn't seen it. I have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, show of sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Cooley. Is that all the appointment committee has this morning?
Yes, sir.
Unfinished business. This is an action item. Motion to approve allocation of North Carolina Eastern Region loan funds. Mr. Wood.
Mr. Chairman, as I mentioned at the 8 o'clock meeting, you had appointed the Facilities Committee to make a recommendation on how we ought to disperse these funds. We got 3 allocations in total. You have a memo from me dealing with that. You also have a spreadsheet attached, which Ms. Holt prepared. The total amount that we got from the 3 allocations was $3,069,192.25. And what the committee looked at was all of the requests. We did have several changes. The town of Mount Olive has asked for an additional $40,000, and the town of Fremont has asked for an additional $50,000 when we made them aware that we had gotten additional money. Both are for sewer work. And then the town of Pikeville has asked that its original request for $75,000 for refurbishing its sewer holding tank be reinstated rather than the sewer study. They've asked that we keep their allocation in place for now. The town of Eureka may or may not go forward with their allocation. Mr. Mayo has checked with the mayor, and he's indicated they will not, but they've also asked us to hold off temporarily while they consult with their engineer on their sewer issue up there. So our recommendation is that you leave the town of Eureka's allocation in place for now, and then if they decide they don't want it, we can look at reallocating that later. So we've accommodated all of those requests. The committee also has set aside a $500,000 reserve at this point, as there are some possible county projects and some items we're currently negotiating with the city of Goldsboro that might need this funding. We've not finished that negotiating process, so we're recommending that you simply reserve it at this point. Again, the spreadsheet is before you from Ms. Holt, and I think you can see everything that's included in it. It does include Goldsboro's Berkeley Boulevard project. It also includes funding for an advanced manufacturing center by the county, and also about $365,000 towards the county's sewer work in repairing the Genoa project. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Mr. Wood?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Mayor?
motion to approve.
I have a motion on the floor to approve, motion to allocate North Carolina Eastern Region loan funds. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous. Consent agenda. We went over the consent agenda and
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the consent agenda.
I have a motion on the floor that we approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous. New business. Wayne County Juvenile Crime Prevention Council presentation. Let me get to the right page here.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Sudie Davis, and I chair the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council for Wayne County. The list that Marcia sent me was pretty extensive, but I'll try to do this as quickly as I possibly can. On October the 6th, 2012, the Raleigh Observer reported, while overall violent crimes have declined by nearly 14% in the state since 2002, the number of teens under 16 charged with violent crimes has dropped by nearly 37%. And while overall property crime dropped 4.5% during that period, the arrests among teens under 16 is down about 40%. So we are seeing less juvenile crime in the state. But one of the strategies used by the General Assembly to fight juvenile crime is the Juvenile Crime Prevention Councils. These JCPCs, as they're called, are made up of 26 local leaders and volunteers who know their community and make decisions on how to spend state funds to meet the needs of local youth. The general statutes of the state of North Carolina define the duties and responsibilities of the Wayne County Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, or JCPC, as part of this partnership. The JCPC must meet at least bi-monthly, although Wayne County's JCPC meets 8 or 9 times a year. With the allotment of funds received, it is the responsibility of the JCPC to publish a request for proposals in February or March. The request for proposals designates the type of programs that are allowed to be funded with that money. The JCPC's Funding and Review Committee meets, reviews the proposals, asks questions of the agencies who submit proposals, and make recommendations on funding to the JCPC membership. Once the JCPC approves that recommendation, it is forwarded to the county commissioners for their approval. At about the same time of the year, the JCPC does a community needs assessment, including data that pertains to youth and families in Wayne County. And that's usually a 6 or 7 page document that we put together. Using the risk and needs information from the juvenile court counselors and the community assessment and the approved program agreements, work begins on the annual plan for the new fiscal year. This plan, which I think you have a copy of, and the action plan included as a part of the plan, guide the JCPC for the coming year. Late in the calendar year or early in the new calendar year, a monitoring committee is appointed. This committee visits the funded programs, asks questions of the program providers, and reviews the program files to assure that the program is operating according to the program agreement. It is this committee that makes the decision as to whether the program is recommended for funding in the future, or it may recommend that a weakness be addressed as soon as possible. Following the annual plan and its goals, monitoring programs and reviewing the program's measurable objectives guide the JCPC in its efforts to prevent and reduce delinquent behaviors, increase public awareness and delinquency prevention, provide a continuum of community resources to address delinquency and at-risk behaviors, and choose the most appropriate programs to serve the needs of the youth with the money allocated by the state. The state legislature provides $23 million in funding for JCPCs. This is split among 100 counties across the state. Of this amount, Wayne County received $333,366. A JCPC administrative fund is set aside in the amount of $3,000. The balance is used to fund programs. Each funded program must provide a 20% in-kind match for any money they receive. The Teen Court program has additional funding that is identified as a local cash match. The total of the state funds and the in-kind value and the local cash is $455,678. So that's a significant match for that money that comes in. JCPC programs are operated under the Division of Juvenile Justice Policies and Procedures for the type of program they provide. Each program must provide a service that is determined as needed in the JCPC annual plan. One JCPC program is Connect 4. It is a parent-family skill-building program. They work with the whole family as needed. Connect 4 outcomes show that 83.37% of their participants demonstrated improvements in targeted skills as specified in the individual service plan by the time they were terminated. 100% of their participants had no new complaints filed against them during the time that they were active in the program. Another program, Connect 4 Juvenile Restitution, is a restitution community service type of program. This program allows participants to complete community service to earn restitution money to pay for property damage that they have caused in the act of the violence that they committed, or the crime that they committed. This program outcomes show 97.37% of their participants had no new complaints filed during the time they were active in the program participation. 84.21% of the participants successfully or satisfactorily completed the program. The Structured Day program is a juvenile structured day type of program. This program serves youth who have been suspended from school during the day, especially long-term suspensions. Their measurable objectives show 100% of the participants completing the program will demonstrate by termination a reduction in problem behaviors for which they were referred. 99.36% of their participants who were placed in the program for at least 30 days will reduce their secure custody and delinquency rate 6 and 12 months after termination. Wayne Transition Reentry Family Preservation Program is a home-based family counseling program. This program serves mostly youth who are returning to the community from youth development centers. That's a very structured environment, and the program is designed to help them transition smoothly back into the community. All of a sudden freedom is there and they're back in their home environments, and so this program is there to help them, guide them and their families through that process. Their measurable objectives show 83.33% of identified clients and family participants completing the program will demonstrate by termination a reduction in specific behaviors for which they were referred and targeted in the individual service plan. 83.33% of participants served had no new complaints during the program participation. Teen Court is a teen court type of program. It allows participants to have a teen court hearing in front of their peers to determine a constructive sentence. Successful completion results in dismissed charges. 100% of the participants gained knowledge regarding the offense affecting more people than just them and the victim. Oftentimes they think, well, this is just me, but their families have to be involved too, and it affects siblings, the whole family. 91.89% of the participants successfully or satisfactorily completed the program requirements prior to termination. These JCPC programs all require family involvement. They all require individual service plans, so they're tailored to the child and that child and his family's needs. It is safe to say that in most cases, the participants' behavior is improved, communication opens up within the families. Parents sometimes realize that they bear some of the blame, and participants set goals for the future. They realize that their actions have consequences, and that encourages them to think before acting. The biggest cost savings for the savings that are impacted by JCPC programs are through reduced detention. These are cost savings for the county. Reduced retention, reduced transportation to detention, and reduced court costs. And to close, I think our JCPC has earned bragging rights, so I want to share with you what they've accomplished this year. You have appointed 26 people to this council, and their average attendance was 17 throughout the year. That's pretty good when you consider that these are real leaders in our community. You know, the sheriff, the police chief, the district attorney, some of the others, chief district court judge, somebody from school system, health department, mental health, East Point. And so I think that's pretty outstanding considering the level that these people operate at. We also have program people involved, and we have people from the community who attend our meetings pretty regularly. Our average attendance at our meetings was 29 this year. I think Wayne County should be very proud of the participants in this program because they are truly dedicated to getting the job done and to be there to help with children with the issues that they encounter. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Any questions for Ms. Davis? Or comments?
Just a comment if I could.
Mr. Darty?
I can't remember all of those percentages, but they were all very high, and you
Yes,
ought to be
they were.
commended for the job that you were doing. Thank you.
Our programs really do a great job. And I know that because I've sat in on that monitoring trip. And some of our program people are here today. Selena Bennett is here. She works with the Teen Court program. And we have Sharon Bell and Milas Kelly who work with the Structured Day program. And I want to thank you very much.
And thank you for your presentation this morning. Thank you, Ms. Davis. Motion to approve the Purple Heart resolution. Mr. Pate?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I want to say it's been an honor and a privilege to serve as co-chair for the second year for the Purple Heart. It's really difficult to describe the work that these men and women put in together for this banquet and what they do. They're working hard right now as we're speaking, meeting rather. And you know, it's for those who have given so much to this country. So again, I'm honored to serve as that. Okay. Wayne County, whereas the original Purple Heart, known as the Badge of Military Merit, is the oldest military decoration in the world in present use, and whereas the Purple Heart was established by General George Washington on August 7, 1782 during the Revolutionary War, as the first award made available to the common soldier to recognize outstanding valor or merit, and whereas following nearly 150 years of disuse, the Purple Heart was reestablished by the President of the United States on February 22, 1932, and whereas the Purple Heart is awarded to military and civilian members of the U.S. Armed Forces who are wounded by an instrument of war in the hands of the enemy, and posthumously to the next of kin in the name of those who were killed in action or died for wounds received in action. And whereas the citizens of Wayne County have great admiration and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have served their country in the armed forces, and whereas veterans have paid the high price for freedom by leaving their families and communities and placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all, and whereas many citizens of our country and state have earned the Purple Heart as a result of being wounded while engaged in combat with enemy forces, construed as a singularly meritorious act of essential service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Wayne County Board of Commissioners hereby honor the service and sacrifice of our nation's men and women in uniform wounded or killed by the enemy while serving to protect the freedoms enjoyed by all Americans. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that the Wayne County Board of Commissioners commends the Board of Directors of the Goldsboro Wayne Purple Heart Foundation for honoring Purple Heart recipients at its annual banquet on August 7, 2014 as a special tribute to those service members who have received the Purple Heart. I adopt this 5th day of August 2014, George Wayne Laycock. And that is a form of a motion, sir.
I have a motion on the floor that we adopt the resolution that Mr. Pate just read, Purple Heart resolution. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Mayo?
I want to commend Commissioner Pate and this committee that this board actually put into place a year or so ago, the Wayne County Veterans Committee. We have a long way to go to really get
the veterans the deserving gratitude and medical attention that they deserve. But we have made a really good start here in Wayne County because we have made tremendous progress on this Veterans Committee. So I just want to thank this board. A year or so ago, when we decided to establish the Wayne County Veterans Committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I believe we need to add to that motion the individual resolutions.
Was this one I'm supposed to read?
We have them ready.
They're ready. They're not in your
Oh,
packet.
okay.
I mean, their names are, but the resolutions has been.
I think if you just add that to your motion, it'll be fine.
Add it. And before I finish, have they had an opportunity to pick those up yet?
They're ready for you. No. they
I'll
haven't.
let them know. Thanks.
I would like to make one comment. My first experience with anyone that received a Purple Heart was my father-in-law. Got wounded during World War II in France. Really did not know what the meaning of the Purple Heart was until many years into my marriage, and got to talking to him and saw the scars and the wounds that he received and sacrificed. And there's so many of these recipients, they don't expect anything for it. I mean, they were, most of them will tell you that they were just doing their duty. And these men and women are to be commended. And I just want to thank Mr. Pate and that group for bringing this back and getting it active in Wayne County. Thank you.
We better vote. Do need to vote.
I have a motion on the floor. No other discussion. All in favor should sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous. Mr. Wood, the next four, would you kind of go over them and
Yes, sir.
3 through 6?
Do you want to do them together or separately? Can we do them together? All right. The first one is the acceptance of the modular manufactured home proposals for the 2011 Community Development Block Grant Scattered Site Program. And again, we have Mr. Harris with us. If you have any questions, he's our consultant on this. We went through a bidding process. He's recommending the low bidder on all of these, so everything is in order, and we recommend approval on that. The second one is the award of bid proposals for asbestos abatement, again for the CDBG Scattered Site Program for 2011 grant. He's recommending 2 of those. Again, both of those are the low bidder, so they're all in order. And we're also recommending that you approve his recommendation. The third one is the 2011 CDBG Scattered Site Program Award of Bids for Demolition and Clearance. And we're recommending those as well. But you'll notice in there, he's recommending 2 of them be delayed pending resolution of outstanding judgments. The county's lien for the amount of housing replacement assistance can be subordinate to a first mortgage lien, but not to a lien filed on a judgment. So those owners are working through those issues now, and until they do, we would not make an award on those, even though you've taken the bids on those. So wanted to call that to your attention as well. But everything is in order there, and we recommend approval on that. On the fourth one, again, it's for the 2011 CDBG, but this time it's for the Catalyst Program. It's the award of housing rehab proposals. There are 3 recommended for your approval. As Mr. Harris said at the 8 o'clock pre-agenda meeting, these awards will be subject to approval by the Division of Community Assistance within state government because the bid amounts exceed the limit for normal CDBG rehab cost of $40,000 per unit for frame units or 20,000 for mobile home units. DCA requires that the board conditionally approve the bids and submit a request for the work to be performed as, quote, substantial rehabilitation. After approval by DCA, the contracts can be executed for the work. So what we're recommending there is that you approve those conditional upon DCA's approval. That's all four of them, Mr. Chairman, and
Mr. Harris is present. If any of the board members have any questions for Mr. Harris, we'd be glad to try to answer any questions that you have.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Doherty.
I'm going to try to make this motion real simple. I move acceptance of items 3, 4, 5, and 6 as indicated on our agenda. Do I have to be more specific than that?
No, that's fine, but the minutes will reflect a separate motion on each one to assist in making sure the clerk can get everything down.
And I make that as separate motions.
Thank you. I have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? I see Mr. Harris is present. He'll be glad to answer any questions. If no questions or discussion, all in favor show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Harris, for being here. Motion to approve the public school building capital fund North Carolina Education Lottery application. Ms. Holt.
Yes, good morning. I recommend the Board of Commissioners authorize Chairman Wayne Adcock to sign the Public School Building Capital Fund North Carolina Education Lottery application requesting $1,071,428 for the QSCAP principal payment due October 1, 2014. This debt payment is for the construction and renovation projects at Eastern Wayne Middle and North Wayne Middle that are complete. The final debt payment will be October 1, 2025. North Carolina General Statutes, Chapter 18C, provides that a county may use monies in the state lottery fund to pay for school construction projects in local administrative units and to retire indebtedness incurred for school construction projects.
Any questions from Ms. Holt?
I move that we approve.
I have a motion on the floor that we approve the motion to approve public school building capital fund North Carolina Education Lottery application. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous. Budget amendments, Ms. Holt.
Are you ready for these?
We
We have a lot.
We're never ready, but go ahead.
We will get through these. I will tell you, the next meeting will probably have just as many, so we're trying not to put them all on one meeting. Your first budget amendment is number 13, Services on Aging. $8,207, fund balance appropriation for extra help in Services on Aging, in-home counselor aid, out on Family Medical Leave Act.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Mayor.
Could I make a recommendation that we group those together, that?
Okay, next one.
By department?
By department, yes, sir.
Yes, and that would save us time?
Yes, sir.
I'll give it this, I'll try that. Okay, let me see.
Number 18.
Yeah, they are in order in our agenda packet.
Right, I've also got a 47, a 52. You want me to try, you want me to pull them all together?
If possible, but let's do it the way we normally do and see if we can do it next meeting. If we have this many, maybe try to group
Okay.
them together.
Go ahead and group 13 and 18. Name it.
Okay, and 18 is to reappropriate donations received in 13-14 that were not expended, $33,545.63.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion on the floor. We approve budget amendment 13 and 18 in discussion.
A question.
Mr. Doherty.
I'm not quite understanding why we would hire an additional help for a counselor for the Family Medical Leave Act?
No, it's not for we have someone out on family medical leave, and they're
Oh.
hiring a counselor to take that person's place.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? All in favor of approving budget amendment 13 and 18, show sign of right hand. Motion carries.
Okay, we'll do 22, 28, 20, and 29 together. 22, an increase of $40,862.20. This is for the 4-H program, Youth Family Promise Grant. It is an increase of $40,862.20 and a decrease in fund balance of $15,002 to budget for grant that began in 13-14, but expenditures or revenues were not complete as of June 30th, 2014. Number 28, increase of $70, reimbursement due Partnership for Children grant funds received in 13-14. Number 29, an increase of $14.93, reimbursement due the 21st Century Grant for overpayment received in 13-14. Okay.
You've heard budget amendment 22, 28, and 29. Pleasure of the board.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Carter.
I move we approve the budget amendments as read.
I have a motion on the floor. We approve budget amendment 22, 28, and 29. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries.
Number 31 is this for EMS, an increase of $15,763 fund balance to appropriate 3% administration fee due for EMS Federal Enhancement Program funds received for $525,427.
Heard budget amendment number 31. Pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion on the floor. We approve budget amendment number 31. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Budget amendment number 33 is for the Wayne County Schools to increase the interest payment $739,399.92. This is to anticipate and appropriate interest payment due for Grantham and Spring Creek projects due February 1, 2015, supported by $230,966 lottery funds and $508,433.92 sales tax.
You've heard budget amendment number 33. Pleasure of the board.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Carter.
I move we approve budget amendment number 33.
I have a motion on the floor. We approve budget amendment number 33. Any discussion?
Quick question.
Mr. Page.
This is just sort of accounting procedures, what you're
Yes,
doing
sir.
here. You're just moving it from, okay.
We'll move it from sales tax, from the sales tax reserve fund over into the fund into Fund 110 where the debt is paid.
Just want to be sure I understand.
And we're anticipating the lottery funds.
And Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Darty.
And when would that payment be due? I mean, we just signed the papers the other day. It certainly is not due now.
No, but we're required to have the debt on our books.
Okay.
That is
So
a
sometime
statute.
in this fiscal year, we're
It's going to be
pay
due
it.
February 1/15.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We didn't have this, normally you would have this in the original budget. We didn't have this information at that time. Complete.
I have a motion on the floor for budget amendment number 33. Any other discussion? All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Budget amendment number 36 is for the 4-H Cooperative Extension Program. This is to reappropriate prior year collections for cooperative extension programs and 4-H programs. These are fees that were collected for use by certain programs. It is increasing fund balance by $47,815.99 and decreasing fees by $1,000.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt budget amendment 36.
I have a motion on the floor. We adopt budget amendment number 36. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Number 37 and 38 are for the library. Number 37 is $500 of a fund balance appropriation. That was funds received, a donation received for the Pikeville Walmart community grant, unexpended in 13-14. And number 38 is $100 to anticipate and appropriate $100 donation received for the Pikeville Library.
Question to approve, Mr. Chairman, budget amendments number 37 and 38.
I have a motion on the floor. We adopt budget amendment 37 and 38. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Number 39, the Sheriff's Department, to reappropriate restricted funds in the Sheriff's Office. Various programs totaling $260,694.80.
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
I have a motion on the floor, we adopt the budget amendment number 39. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor, show of right hand. Ms. Holt, if you would take a minute, it is 10 o'clock. Anyone, it's time for public comment section. If there's anyone in the audience that has a public comment they would like to make, you're allowed 4 minutes. Just come forward and state your name, address, and phone number. I do not see anyone stepping forward, so I'm going to close the public comment section. Ms. Hope, continue.
Okay, we'll start back on budget amendment number 40. This is for the Health Department. It's a $19 to allocate additional grant funds received for the Young Families Connect program.
Pleasure to board on budget amendment number 40.
Move adoption, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion on the floor, we adopt budget amendment number 40. Any discussion? If none, all in favor, show sign with right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Number 41 is for the jail to reappropriate state criminal alien assistance program funds of $25,519.67.
Pleasure to board.
Move we approve.
I have a motion on the floor, we approve budget amendment number 41.
Mr. Chair.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Doherty.
could you explain that a little bit?
Okay, the SCOUT program provides federal payments to states and localities that incurred correctional officer salary cost for incarcerating undocumented criminal aliens who have at least one felony or 2 misdemeanors.
All right, so we're actually
They-
receiving these funds.
We are receiving these are grant or reimbursement grant funds that we receive. They do not cover our entire cost, but they cover part of it.
Undoubtedly. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other discussion? I have a motion on the floor with budget number 41. No other discussion. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Number 42 is for the animal shelter to reappropriate animal shelter donations received in prior years, $15,712.90.
Pleasure to board.
Mr. Chairman, I move approve.
I have a motion on the floor. We approve budget amendment number 42. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Number 43 is for the Planning Department, an increase of $200,000 for the Reedy Creek project. This is a grant to anticipate and appropriate Reedy Creek Greenway project grant funds approved in 13-14. No revenues or expenditures were posted in 13-14.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve budget amendment 43.
I have a motion on the floor. We approve budget amendment number 43. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Mayor.
is this the one that we're actually, passed through?
Well, we are actually administering. The city of Goldsboro couldn't apply for it, so Wayne County applied for it. I did have a conversation with the finance director for the city of Goldsboro this week, and she's going to begin sending over invoices. So this project is on the way. It's starting now.
Okay, thank you.
Just a question, just a comment. This-
Mr. Baker.
The presentation that the Parks and Rec person gave us, this is what this
Yes,
is,
sir.
right? Okay.
Any other discussion? I have a motion on the floor. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
44, this is for your Ag Center. To reappropriate balance of Ag Center funds, original amount of grant was $200,000. The balance for 14-15 is $168,885.
I move that we approve.
I have a motion on the floor. We approve budget amendment number 44. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Number 45 and 46 are both CDBG grant funds. Number 45 is to reappropriate grant funds for Scatter's site It is an increase of $361,986.35. Number 46 is for the Catalyst Grant, and it's an increase of $511,695.12.
Pleasure of the board.
I move, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion on the floor. We approve budget amendment 45 and 46. Any discussion? Mr. Daugherty.
On the 45, where you had a balance of the original 400,000,
Yes, sir.
and that's just carried forward.
Yes, sir. We received the difference in 1314, and this is
Was there any local match with that? I see on.
I don't think on that one. I think that one may be 100%.
Okay,
'cause
on
we didn't use any
46, there
funds.
was a
Right.
county match of 30,000.
That one has 100%.
That one was what?
That one's all grant funds.
On 45?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
46 has the fund balance appropriation.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? All in favor of budget amendment 45 and 46, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Number 47 is for the Services on Aging, and it is for the Health Promotion Grant. It is to anticipate and appropriate health promotion grant for 14-15, final amounts not available for inclusion in the original budget. These grants are just coming on board.
Pleasure of the board.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Marty.
I move that we approve.
Have a motion on the floor. We approve budget amendment number 47. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Number 48 is for the tax office, $720.51 to reappropriate attorney fees collected in 1314 through bankruptcy court that must be reimbursed to attorneys in 1415. $720.51.
Pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion on the floor. We approve budget amendment number 48. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Daugherty.
is this the first budget amendment from our new tax head of that department?
Yes.
No.
We've got his
your name
signature.
on it.
We've got
Got
his
your name on
signature
it.
on it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of many.
Any other discussion? I have a motion on the floor. All in favor of budget amendment number 48, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Number 52, Services on Aging, to anticipate and appropriate Eastern Carolina Council on Transportation and Consumer Direct grant funds for the fiscal year 1314 received in 1415. These are some funds that were grant, that we had the grant in 1314, that we received them in 1415.
Pleasure of the board.
Move that we approve.
I have a motion on the floor. We approve budget amendment number 52. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Number 53 is for the Health Department, to anticipate and appropriate funds awarded by the North Carolina Division of Public Health for STD prevention. $50.
I move adoption, Mr. Chairman.
A motion on the floor. We approve budget amendment number 53. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Budget amendment number 54 for the detention center, $2,328.51. Insurance refund recovery, to anticipate insurance refund for the repair of detention vehicle and appropriate funds for repair.
Chairman, I move to approve.
Have a motion on the floor. We approve budget amendment number 54. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Number 58 and 59 for the Jetport. 58 is to reappropriate grant funds for Jetport Fuel Farm Grant, total $26,998. Number 59 is to reappropriate grant funds for the Jetport Fuel Farm Grant, $417,789.38.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion on the floor that we approve budget amendment number 58 and 59. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Daugherty.
Am I understanding that we received grant funds for the fuel farm?
Yes, sir.
All that came from a grant? That's good news. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor of budget amendment 5859, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Number 60 is truly a 14-15 budget amendment. It is for a controlled substance, $1,037.10.
I move, Mr. Chairman, approve.
Have a motion on the floor, we approve budget amendment number 60. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
And number 61 is to reappropriate regional ag funds for the 14-15 fiscal year, $2 million.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve.
Have a motion on the floor to approve budget amendment. What was that one you're talking about?
61.
61. Budget amendment number 61. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Pate.
Mr. Wood, so we're still waiting on the proposal from the architect at this point?
Yes, I've been in contact with her, and you remember she had jury duty.
Oh, that's right. I
And
forgot.
that's been the delay. But she contacted the office yesterday, and I'll be getting back with her this afternoon.
I just wanted the public to know this thing is still ongoing.
It's still ongoing. She's finalizing her proposal back to us. But that's been the delay, is her being on a jury.
Okay, thank you. I forgot about that.
That completes the budget amendments.
No, not yet. Any other discussion on budget amendment number 61? None, all in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous. Item number 9, OES position, Mr. Wood, if you would.
Yes, sir. When we added this to the agenda, I've given you a memo on it, dated today. It's a recommendation on Assistant County Manager / Emergency Services Director position. The Office of Emergency Services Director position is vacant due to Joe Gurley's recent retirement to accept a seat on the Board of Commissioners. I've given a great deal of thought to that position and the need for an Assistant County Manager position. My recommendation is that you merge the duties of the OES Director into a new position of Assistant County Manager. The grade on the job classification and pay plan would remain the same at grade 85, which is from $81,165 to $126,590. I believe we can recruit an Assistant County Manager within that grade. Depending on that person's level of experience, I would need to start them higher than the beginning salary. However, Mr. Gurley was making almost $90,000, and that is what is budgeted. With his vacancy for several months, because it'll take us at least a couple of months to recruit this position, we will have saved some of that money for this fiscal year. Consequently, if we have to pay more, it should be budgeted for the rest of the year. Attached are 2 sheets that show how the duties could be split between the manager and assistant manager in terms of the various departments. However, this would be subject to change once the interviews were conducted, as the selected person may have particular expertise in one or more areas that could best be utilized by trading off some other departments with the manager. As you can see, there are well over 20 departments that I either directly supervise or have a great deal of contact with on a daily basis. All require a commitment of time. I believe we could better organize county government by changing the OES Director to an Assistant County Manager position that would supervise more departments or divisions than are currently being done. That would give us better supervision over our departments and free up some of my time for the major projects that we are undertaking. This person would have a career goal to become a county manager and have the educational background for it. He or she may already be a county manager or assistant county manager in a smaller jurisdiction. This person would be the acting county manager in my absence. Given the limited financial impact, the OES Director vacancy is an ideal time to combine these duties. So that's my recommendation to you, Mr. Chairman.
You've heard Mr. Wood's recommendation. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion on the floor that we approve Mr. Wood's recommendation. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Darty.
Is it my understanding that you will begin advertising for this position?
Yes, if you approve it today, I plan on advertising immediately.
And is it my understanding that, that you will interview all of these individuals and make your determination from that?
That's correct.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? I would like to make one comment myself. I think this is a great opportunity for Wayne County to move forward. We had discussed an assistant county manager previously and really hadn't done anything about it, but with Mr. Wood's guidance and leadership, I think this is a golden opportunity for Wayne County to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous. Item number 10, tax administrator, Mr. Wood.
Mr. Chairman, you had appointed a group, I keep saying that. You had appointed a group to look at what we wanted to do in terms of hiring a permanent tax administrator. As you know, we put Alan Lumpkin in as the acting tax administrator to go into effect once David had formally retired. And of course, so Alan has been in since August 1 in an interim capacity. And what you had asked us to do was to look at, first of all, did we want to advertise and go through that process, or did we have an in-house candidate that we wanted to go with? And so that was the first question that the group looked at. It's the recommendation of that group that we have one of the best people we could possibly have ready to go, who's already our assistant tax administrator. And I just want to say I'd like to commend David Ward again for doing an outstanding job of managing that department, because one of the traits of a very good manager is that they have somebody in place ready to go when they retire, and it's virtually seamless. And in this situation, I think that's where we're at. And again, that speaks very highly of David's managerial capabilities. And again, I just want to publicly thank him for that. Having said that, the group looked at Mr. Lumpkin's qualifications. He is fully able to be certified by the North Carolina Department of Revenue. And let me explain that. He's gone through all of the coursework. He has everything. The only reason he cannot be certified yet is you do not get a certification as a tax administrator in North Carolina unless you hold a position. So once, if you appoint him today, we will get a letter almost immediately from the state saying that he's fully certified. In fact, in the packet I gave you have a letter from the Department of Revenue saying that he meets all the qualifications. So he's ready to go. Because of that, you can appoint him to a 4-year term. If he did not have that, you'd be limited to appointing him to a 2-year term. So what the group is recommending is that you appoint him, first of all, to finish Mr. Ward's current term, which would end on June 30th, 2015. And then further, that he be appointed to a full 4-year term commencing on July 1, 2015 and expiring on June 30, 2019. We're also recommending that the position be reclassified to grade 82 and that Mr. Lumpkin be paid at grade 82, step 6. So that is the recommendation from the group. It would basically give him 4 years and 11 months, essentially, because this would back up effective to August 1, which is just, of course, 5 days previous to now. So that's the recommendation.
Mr. Mayor, you were on that group? Yes, and I concur with what Mr. Wood has said as far as his comment about David's performance, and also as far as Alan Lumpkin's qualifications. I concur, and I would like to read the resolution.
Yes, sir.
At this time.
Yes, sir,
Mr. Chairman.
Mayor.
That whereas North Carolina general statutes require the appointment of a tax assessor and a tax collector for either a 4-year or 2-year term, And whereas the two positions can be combined into one position of tax administrator in which one person performs the official duties of both positions, and whereas the Board of Commissioners had previously appointed Mr. David Ward as tax administrator for Wayne County for a 4-year term commencing on July 1st, 2011, and ending on June 30, 2015, and whereas Mr. Ward has announced his retirement effective on August 1st, 2014, and therefore a vacancy will exist in this position, and whereas a county assessor must meet all the requirements of North Carolina General Statute 105-294 to be appointed to serve a regular term, except they may have a 2-year period to become certified by the North Carolina Department of Revenue. And whereas a county tax collector must meet the qualifications listed in the North Carolina General Statute 105-349. And whereas Mr. Alan Lumpkin is the Assistant Tax Administrator in the Tax Department and has earned the Department of Revenue certification required to be a tax assessor. And whereas the Board of Commissioners has previously appointed Mr. Alan Lumpkin as the interim tax administrator to complete a portion of Mr. Ward's 4-year term until a permanent tax administrator has been appointed. And whereas the chairman appointed a group to recommend a permanent tax administrator, and said group has recommended that Mr. Alan Lumpkin be appointed as a tax administrator to fill the remainder of Mr. Ward's term of office that ends on June 30th, 2015. And further, that he be appointed to a full 4-year term commencing on July 1st, 2015, and expiring on June 30th, 2019. And that the position be reclassified to grade 82, and that Mr. Lumpkin to be paid at grade 82, step 6. And now therefore be it resolved by the Wayne County, North Carolina Board of Commissioners that Mr. Alan Lumpkin be and is hereby appointed a tax administrator for Wayne County to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Ward for a term beginning on August 5th, 2014 and ending on June 30th, 2015, and is further hereby appointed for a full 4-year term commencing on July 1st, 2015 and expiring on June 30th, 2019. Be it further resolved that the tax administrator position is hereby reclassified to grade 82, and that Mr. Lumpkin shall be paid at grade 82, step 6, which is $79,327, beginning on August 1st, 2014, when he took over the position from Mr. Ward. Be it further resolved that the position of tax administrator in Wayne County shall and hereby does continue to include all the duties and responsibilities and rights and privileges of the tax assessor and tax collector as those are set out in state statutes and administrative regulations, and that is the intent of this board that Mr. Lumpkin shall be the tax assessor and the tax collector for Wayne County, North Carolina, and shall be entitled to exercise all of their rights and privileges and to fulfill all the duties and responsibilities of those two offices in his capacity as tax administrator for Wayne County. Be it further resolved that the Wayne County tax administrator shall report to the county manager and be subject to his direction and supervision to the extent that it is not inconsistent with North Carolina General Statute 105-294 or other applicable law of the state of North Carolina. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept this resolution as read.
I have a motion on the floor that we accept the resolution Mr. Mayo just read. Any other discussion? If no other discussion, all in favor of Mr. Mayo's motion, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous. Welcome aboard, Mr. Lumpkin. Would you like to make any comments?
Just before we make his comment, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask him a question. Are you gonna double David's taxes next year?
He's on a fixed income now, I can't do that.
Oh,
I do want to thank you all, commissioners, for the vote of confidence. I've enjoyed my 23 years. Like Francis said, I enjoy my job. It's hard to believe, but I do enjoy my job. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy explaining things to them. Sometimes we have to agree to disagree, but it's a challenging job sometimes. I did have hair when I started here. So there are some pitfalls, but I do enjoy the job, and I appreciate your vote of confidence. I do want to personally thank David, like you said. He gave me the opportunity during these years to enhance my education and put me in a position to take over this job. And without his cooperation, I wouldn't be here today, really. I wouldn't have a job because he hired me 23 years ago. But I do thank you, David, for that. And I do want to say, too, like David mentioned earlier, the staff, our staff it's a great staff. We're very limited on staff, but we put a lot of work out, and we are dedicated to the citizens of Wayne County, so I look forward to working with everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan.
Well, I ask you now, I ask you later.
You bought, go ahead.
Mr. Cowboy.
Hold on just a minute.
Yes, sir.
Marshall, I think this is a photo op. I mean, you comfortable with that? I thought you had the camera.
Have you got some powders we can take?
It is shiny this morning.
You right.
Mr. Marty.
You're right.
Yes, sir.
Alan, I would like to take this as an opportunity to bring light to the fact that you have worked in this system and you clearly earned the opportunity and the right to be able to move up. I say that about you because I'm a firm believer in employees who work in any organization, but a large organization like a county government can be motivated to stay with an organization, knowing that there is an opportunity down the road someplace to move up and get the rewards, therefore, of all the long service, and that serves for county government and every other entity within our county. I just wanted to bring light upon that subject for all the employees who are out there working hard, doing a good job.
Very true, yes. Thank you, sir.
Marshall's out trying to find the camera. The camera's already here, so let's stay down.
Wayne, when you go find Marshall.
There's some scurrying around back there, I know.
I know it's a bad trick, Marshall. I didn't know Marshall was out looking. Okay, gentlemen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 again. Thank you.
We found a camera, Marshall.
Thank you, our past
Alan, I suppose you were wondering if he was ever going to retire.
39 years, I mean, must have been 10 years old when he started working.
Man, kind dude.
Yeah, you were the Boy Scouts when you started.
He started before they had child labor laws.
Okay, yes, if there were items that we need to act on, we're down, the public comment section's already been done. Do we want to, county manager's comments now, we want to go into work session, what's the pleasure of the board? And we do have to go back in closed session for a few minutes.
Can we go back in closed session? That'll give us time for a little break and we
That's
can
what
resolve
I'm
that
asking.
and then.
Then we'll come back and do this.
Yeah. I move we go into closed session to,
Have a motion, we go in closed session, all in favor?
to
consult with an attorney to preserve the attorney-client privilege and to consider the acquisition of property.
So motion on the floor, we'll go in closed session, all in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carried.